Well, hello again. It's Mrs. Krantz, Honors Algebra 2. Hope everybody's doing well, getting used to the online schooling. We're working our way, almost finished with Chapter 10, conics sections, all right? Today we're going to take the conics and we're going to translate them up, down, left, and right. I plan to post this on Friday, April 17th. Again, conics sections with Mrs. Krantz, Honors Algebra 2. My dogs are taking a break today, but they wanted me to show you a couple of their favorite toys. We've got our fearless leader, Make America Chew Again, and another famous dictator, Kim Jong-un, or Kim Jong-chu. I can see that one of the two has been a little bit more chewed on. Anyways, these are Leo and Zoe's, some of their favorite toys, and they're taking a break today. Anyways, how many conics sections are there? What do you think? In the back there. Preston, Michael, Kevin. How many conics sections? 4. If you said 4, you're right. We have the parabola, the circle, the most basic, the ellipse, and the hyperbola. All right, 4 conic sections and 4 separate equations. The ellipse and the hyperbola have 2 standard form equations. The circle has a standard form equation. Parabola has standard form and vertex form equations. All right, but now we're going to do a general equation for conics, and you're going to love it. All right, it's ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus, what letter do you think is coming next? I heard it. F. And what will this equal? Well, ellipse and a hyperbola equal 1. Circle equals radius squared. Parabola equals y or equals x. Here it equals 0. All right. This is the most general equation for all conics. It's for all conics. All right. You have 2 quadratic terms. You have 1, 2, 3 linear terms. However, we have not really had an xy term. Okay, that will slant something. And we either have things pointing up, down, left, or right. Right? And then f is the constant term. Right? Now, in order to be a conic, which is a type of quadratic equation, there's one caveat. A and C, which are numbers, A, B, C, D, E, F are numbers, X and Y are the variables. A and C are not allowed to be 0 at the same time. Okay? Because if they are, then they would both disappear and you'd have what kind of equation? Not quadratic, just a linear. Okay. So now we're going to look at some equations, and we actually did this at the very beginning of the chapter. We're going to identify the conic section, and then we're going to graph it, but we're going to graph it in great detail, okay? So let's do it. First one, if you're following along with me, if you're writing this down, again, stop the video if you need to. We have 9x squared minus 4y squared plus 18x equals 27. All right, what is this? It has the x squared, it has the y squared term, it has a dx, the constant would be negative 27 equals 0. So this is almost in general form. What is this? X squared, y squared minus hyperbola. Okay. All right, now we gotta get it in standard form. So I'm gonna put my 9x squared first, then my 18x's, then I'm gonna leave a space, minus 4y squared equals 27. Now, what are we leaving a space for? Well, we're going to complete the square. Okay, but first I have to factor out my a, which is 9. All right, the coefficient in front of x squared. Factor that out. And what will we complete the square with? Well, we take the b number, which is 2 divided by 2, and square it. That is 1 plus 1. Okay. But we didn't really add 1 to this side. We added 9 times 1. We added 9. So you want to show this, you're going to do the same thing to both sides. You're going to add 9 on the other side. All right, so now I have 9. Then we're going to write this as x plus 1 quantity squared minus 4y squared, and then on the other side we now have 36. Now to get this in standard form, it needs to equal not 0, 1. So we're going to divide everything by 36. And so this will be x plus 1 quantity squared. 9 36 is 1/4, minus 4 36 is 1/9 equals 1. Standard form for a hyperbola. All right, so first we're going to get the what? Well, let's see, center. Our center will be HK, -1 0, -1 0. Put the center on here, label it C. All right, now let's go for vertices. Ellipse has covertices, so hyperbola, no vertices. All right, so the vertices will be, well, I need to figure out A and B. Well, really, I just need A for the vertices, right? So this will be my A squared. So A is 2, and B is square root of 9, 3. Okay. So if A is 2, that's the distance from a center to a vertex. So I go 2 to the right, 2 to the left. So V1, second vertex, V2. Vertices are 1, 0, and -3, 0. They're on the x-axis, right? How do I know that? How do I know this wasn't a vertical one? Well, the x squared is first, right? So x is my transverse axis, just to note. Transverse axis is x, okay? Or horizontal, because it didn't shift up or down, it just shifted left 1, okay? This is the shift left 1, okay? So we have the vertices. Now what? Well, we can get the foci or the asymptotes, either one. Well, let's try the foci. All right. Now, what do I use for hyperbola? Is it the regular Pythagorean theorem? Or is it switched around because A is the largest? Well, on a hyperbola, C, the distance from the center to the foci, is the largest. So it's the regular A squared plus B squared equals C squared. All right, so that's 9 plus 4. C is the square root of 13, which is about, what do we got? 3.6. So what are the foci? 1, 2, 3.6. I've got F1. 1, 2, 3.6, F2. So that's 1, 2.6, 0, and -1, 2, 3, 4.6, 0. Or exact foci would be the center -1 plus or minus square root of 13, 0. These are all, these two other foci, this is exact foci. All right, last thing to draw. I need the asymptotes. How do I do that? That'll be y equals, now from the center, I'm gonna go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1, 2. Up 3 over 2. down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2. All right, let's draw them in. Get the ruler. Put in a color here, maybe in blue. Let's try the blue. Put these in. Oh, that's not showing up great. Try this. Here are the asymptote lines. And I'll try red to draw the hyperbola. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Nice. Okay. What are the equations of these asymptote lines? Y equals what? Well, the slope is 3/2 x plus something, right? And negative 3/2 plus something. Well, we're going to figure out that something, which is the y-intercept. The first y-intercept and the next y-intercept. What are these y-intercepts? Well, I got to plug in a point. The only point I know for sure on this line, well, I can use that point, but the point that's, I think, easiest is the center. So I'm going to plug in the center for x, y. Right? So y is 0, and x is -1. I'm going to solve for the question mark. So that's negative 3/2, add 3/2. The first question mark is 3/2. So the first equation is y equals 3/2 x, plus the same, 3/2. Now, I'm going to go y equals my negative sloping, 3/2 x plus question mark. Plug in 0 and -1. That's positive 3/2, so subtract 3/2. My second question mark is negative 3/2. So the other equation for the asymptote is negative 3/2 x minus 3/2. All right, well, let's see. Does that look right? My negative 3/2 slope, y-intercept -1.5, good. And then for the positive slope, yeah, looks good. All right. First one's hyperbola. What about the second one? X squared and y squared, but plus. And the coefficients are the same. So this is a circle. Probably the most basic of the conics. So I'm going to have x squared, then I go minus 12x, leave a spot. We have to complete the square. Then y squared plus 4y, leave a spot to complete the square again. All right, so what will complete the square? Well, I'm going to take my b, negative 12, divide by 2, negative 6, and square it. All right, so I'm going to add 36. Make sure I do that to both sides. Then take my next b, which is 4, divide by 2, and square it. That's 4, so add 4 to both sides. All right, so this will be x minus 6, the quantity squared, plus y plus 2, quantity squared, equals 60 plus 40, 100. Circle. This is h, k, and the radius squared. So the center is 6, negative 2. And the radius is square root 100, which is nice. 10. So let's graph this. Maybe I'll go by 2s. 2, 4, 6, negative 2. Going by 2s. Then I go up 10, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right 5. Down 5, and left 5. Let's see, can we get a good circle? Maybe. Not bad. Okay. Then we're going to label the 4 points. Okay. Doesn't matter which one I do first. I'll label this negative 2, negative 4. So I've got negative 4, negative 2. Then 6 plus 10, 16, negative 2. Then up here, 6. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. And then this guy would be 6, -2, and -10, -12. All right. It doesn't ask, but let's do this for review. What's the domain of this thing? All right, x goes from -4 up to 16. I really don't need parentheses. Okay. How about the range? Not the same. The range, y goes from -12 up to +8. Same thing for parentheses. Lines of symmetry, how many? Well, quite a few, but not the x-axis, not the y-axis. Lines of symmetry would be all lines that go through the center, which is 6, -2. Okay, those are lines of symmetry. All right, third one. Let's look and see what this is going to be. Only a y squared, then an x, then a y. Hopefully you're saying parabola. I'm going to take this parabola and put it in vertex form. Okay. So let's see, I've got y squared minus 4y. Leave a spot, I'm going to complete the square, then I add 2x over to the other side. What do I do to complete the square? I'm going to take -4 divided by 2 and square it. Well, that means I'm going to add what? +4. And I've got y minus 2, the quantity squared, equals 2x minus 6. Now I'm going to solve for x. All right. I'm going to add 6. Divide everything by 2. Ooh, so now I get 1/2. 6 divided by 2. X equals 1/2 quantity y minus 2 squared plus 6 over 2, 3. This is a parabola. A parabola has one vertex and one focus. Right? The vertex is HK. Remember, this is a backwards one itself for x. So this is H and K. The vertex is 3, 2, HK. 3 to the right, 2 up. Vertex. Okay. Now, how do I get, there's only one, it's a focus. Well, this requires the formula. A equals 1 over 4c. C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. A is my A, 1/2 equals 1 over 4c. So 2 equals 4c. C is 2/4, which is 1/2. Which means what for my focus? My focus is going to be 1/2. But where do I go? Up, down, left, or right? This is solved for x, which means it either points right or left. A is positive. That means it points to the right. So I go 1/2 to the right. And the focus is 3.5, 2, right here. Okay. Then we're going to find the directrix line, which is 1/2 behind. I'll draw it in red. Right here. And that line is x equals 2.5, or 2.5. Now, let's get a couple more points. This points to the right. All right. What could I do? Well, I can make a table and don't pick x's, pick y. Right? Or, what if I just took this thing, and this is a good review, and wrote it in standard form? What would I solve for? Standard form would be ay squared plus by plus c. And that equals x. So let's go for x. Okay. So let's see, I'm going to have y squared minus 4y, add 2x. Same first step as this. Okay. Now what? add 10, and then divide everything by 2. So standard form will be 1/2 y squared minus 2y plus 5 equals x. And that gives me the, what is the C number? That is the x-intercept instead of the y-intercept. So I now have a point 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. And what will correspond with that? That would be 5, 4. There we go. 3 points. And you have your parabola. And A is a half, A is a half. This is a compression. Okay, today. All right, a couple more. Now we're not going to do more graphing. We're going to write the equation of the graph. It's translated. 3 right, 5 up. Okay. All right. Well, what is this? This is a minus, hope you said, hyperbola. But really, that doesn't even matter, right? I want to know what's the center. The current center is 2, 3, right? 2, 3. Now I'm going to take it and move it 3 to the right. 5 up. And then I get the new center. So this is first regular center, initial center, first center. All right, what would that be? 3 to the right puts me at 2 plus 3, 5. And then we're 3 up, and we go another 5 up, 8. So this I ended up adding 3 and adding 5. So I'd have x minus 5 quantity squared. I'm not going to change anything else though. It's 36. And then y minus 8 quantity squared. 25 equals 1. Okay. Now, going back from the original center, okay, we're now going to move it 2 left, 4 down. So from the original center, now I'm going 2 left. Ooh. 2 left. Put it in red, huh? It's easier to see. Then 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Aha! That puts me at 0, -1. New center. So now I just have x squared over 36 minus, then the quantity y double negative plus 1 squared over 25 equals 1. All right, that's translating. Final problem. I have to take this, and we're just going to do part A. Translated 3 to the right, 5 up. Okay. What is this? X squared, y squared, plus, though. So this is going to be an ellipse. All right, fine. I got to get into standard form. Like this was already ready to go. Here, I've got to put my 25x squared plus 150x. Then I'm going to leave some room. We're going to complete the square. And then I got 16y squared. Get your y's on the other side. Minus 160y equals negative 225. Leave a spot. I'm going to complete the square. But we're not ready to complete the square yet, right? First, I got to factor out that 25. And x squared plus, let's see, 6x. Now what do I factor out? 16. Right? Take the 16 out. And then we get y squared minus 10y. Leave spot to complete the square. All right. Now what will complete the first square? I gotta go 6 divided by 2 and square it. That's 3 squared. I gotta add 9. Okay. But what did I really add? I really added 25 times 9. 25 times 9. 225. So I really added 225. So I'm going to add 225 to the other side. That's 9 times 25. All right, now I'm going to take my negative 10, divide that by 2, and squared. That's negative 5 squared. That's positive 25. But what did I really add? I added 16 times 25, which is 400. So add 400. So we had to add two amounts. Okay. Now watch, be careful. If this was a minus, you'd actually be subtracting that amount. So if this is hyperbola, you got to be careful. You have to minus. All right. Now I get 25 quantity x plus 3 squared plus 16 times this quantity y minus 5 squared equals the 225s cancel 400. All right. Now we divide everything by 400. And we just did 16 times 25, which is 400. So this becomes 1/16. And this becomes 1/25. So it's 25, and that equals 1. All right, so where's the center? It's currently at -3, positive 5. Okay, that is 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 5 up. Okay, and then I'm going to move, that's 3 to the left, 5. I'm going to move 3 to the right. Ooh, 3 to the right. And 5 up, plus 5. That gives me a new center of 0, 10. Okay. So x is just squared over 16, plus now y minus, not 5 anymore, 10 quantity squared over 25 equals 1. All right, so for Honors Algebra 2, this is the final section of Chapter 10 on conics. I will do a review video, and then we will have our first online test, all right, next week. And I hope you have a good day. Till next time.